Other interesting political news, you have Biden coming out and saying he's for sure running for president and won't be pushed out. Which, I mean, if someone were actually to physically push him, which I do not recommend violence, obviously, I can't help but think he's not getting back up without 3 to 4 people helping him. Like, physically speaking, I mean, one of his biggest opponents in life is stairs. I'm only half kidding. He falls upstairs after the presidential debate with Trump. He had to have his handler, or Jill Biden, hold his hand and walk him down like 2 steps from the debate stage to the floor, or from from the main platform to the floor. 2 steps. And granted, everyone's a little bit clumsy, but 2 steps. And of course, Trump just walked off on his own, like most people who are able-bodied. And yet, Biden not so much. Now, it also could have been perhaps because he was on so many drugs, it made it a little bit more difficult. Maybe. Not out of the realm of possibility. But nevertheless, everyone is speculating is Kamala Harris going to take over? I mean, what's going to happen? But, I mean, so much speculation because he did so bad during the debate. No, I mean, it's almost unfathomable to think, but a couple people do think he did good. Which, no, I'm not sure if these people are visually impaired, perhaps, or maybe they have hearing issues, but no, I mean, just objectively speaking, Biden did not. I mean, just wind back the clock 4 years ago, Biden was much more articulate. He could get some of his ideals across. In this case, no, not so much. Now, this is brought to us by Unusual Whales on X Twitter. He says, quote, just in, President Biden on a campaign call. He says, quote, this is again from Biden, which, I don't know, when's the last time I tried a Biden accent? It might be painful for your earballs, but I'll give it a go. Let me just say this as clearly as possible. I possibly can, as simply as straightforward as I can. I'm running. No one's pushing me out. I'm not leaving. I'm in this race to the end, and we're gonna win. Malarkey. Okay, I added malarkey, and maybe that's the worst Biden impression you've heard all year. But nevertheless, I did go for it. Now, that went pretty well. It got 1.4 million views and 9.2 thousand likes. Because, again, there's so much speculation. And, again, this is also a fail in the Democrat Party. This has never happened, at least in my lifetime. Because, again, especially with an incumbent presidency, they win pretty much every single time. There's one statistical outlier where Trump won in lost in 2020, when all of a sudden the votes came in at a statistically improbable time of day and during the very few select counties where it just happened to make all the difference in the world. But statistically speaking, an incumbent president will overwhelmingly win a majority of time, just like, well, most sales in life. The incumbent in IT, whatever solution the customer is already using, the incumbent has a big advantage because change is difficult and expensive in many ways. Well, in this case, the lack of change would be a lot of fiscal more expensive, but nevertheless, I mean, there should, again, if this was 12 years ago, there probably wouldn't be this debate because I don't think he would have the cognitive decline. But the fact that this is a big point of controversy, there are people calling for him to drop out. I mean, that is pathetic to say the least. And granted, I can't critique Biden too much on his speaking aptitudes, so truth be told, if you tune to this show, you know I have many, which is why I especially appreciate you taking the time to click the subscribe button. I have that theory when I first started the show, barely any subscribers, stumbled over my words even more. Believe it or not, spoke mostly monotone, even faster than now. Yes, that was actually possible. But as I've gained more subscribers, I've slowly but surely become more eloquent. Granted, some might argue it's just a modicum of improvement. However, if you click that button and tell your friends, I think it'll fuel that theory, and someday, possibly, I might get through a whole episode speaking perfectly eloquent. Tall order, I know, but time, of course, shall tell. So, especially appreciate you taking the time to click that button. Now, one of the first comments here comes from Gunther Eagleman saying, quote, elder abuse getting 683 likes. Paul Zazupa says, everything Joe Biden does is wrong, getting 62 likes. Amuse says, I can say one thing for Biden, he's not looking to back down. He's facing a full-throated coup insurrection from the DNC, and he's not backing down. These people are killers, literally. He's standing his ground, good for him. Looks like, is this Politico? No, this is by Muse. I'm not sure. This is a writer on X Twitter who covers politics. He describes himself as supporting indie journalism, delivering conservative takes on liberal, talking points, supporting Trump. DMs reserved for subs and sponsors. Wow, 300,000 followers. Interesting. I'll give him a follow as well. And he wrote an article saying Biden vows to fight DNC coup against him. Which, again, I mean, apparently even, like, I was going to say Obama was really not a supporter of Joe. I mean, he even publicly critiqued Joe when he said Joe's never made a right decision when it comes to foreign policy. And he also said, never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. Which, geez Louise, who would say that to about a friend? But nevertheless, this did get 184 likes. Barzad says Legacy Ruined, getting 167 likes, which it is kind of ironic that one of the few things Biden accomplished in his lifetime was the crime bill, which again, actually had a fair amount of support, and a lot of people liked the outcomes from it, and yet that is the one thing he talks about being ashamed of doing. So it's kind of ironic. Jer, interesting name, says, guys, I think we should encourage Biden to keep running. It's Trump versus Biden. That's pretty much a sure thing that Trump wins. They got 871 likes, which there's no such thing as a sure win. And never underestimate the competition, whether it be in politics, in business, or sports balls. Again, they're raising a lot of money with the Biden-Harris campaign. That is a big component of how you win elections, especially when it comes to just ballot harvesting, which is legal in some areas now. So never underestimate that. Johnny Maga says, we're so backing, 297 likes. Spitfire says, I could not like this more, getting 105 likes. Holly Market says, there's a 72% odds he drops out. That got 115 likes. Let's see here. Meet Kevin says, signed the teleprompter. Getting to 118 likes, which, yeah, Joe Biden has consistently said stage movements and other instructions off the teleprompter. Like, he's read something, and then he'll say the word pause. When, of course, that's supposed to be the instruction before you start the next line. So he's had that snafu, or he's had that issue a couple times. Which, again, the fact that no one's hacked one of those teleprompters, which I don't know if they're that's probably not connected to the internet, depending on what kind of teleprompter they're using. But if they're just hack that teleprompter, or someone local just plug in USB, or plug into it, or hack it over the Wi-Fi or whatever, if they were to do that, you would absolutely have a Ron Burgundy moment from Anchorman where he will say whatever's on that teleprompter. He's not going to think twice or once. And that, of all the things malicious actors can do in terms of like a hacker, that would be the most entertaining hack of our lifetime. Like, imagine that during an important speech, someone just hacks a teleprompter and Biden just reads it all. I mean, that person would be solidified in hacker history. But back to the main comments. You have Dixon Man saying, when the puppet no longer wants to listen to puppet masters, this should get interesting. Got 262 likes. See here. G.O.D. Bada, interesting name, says what Biden actually said, quote, let me be clear, Shiblin Balaruda Des Jubilee done, you tell me dog barking to shut her thing. Okay, 486 likes. Which, no, and again, it's not a real word, but I'll never forget one of Biden's most popular Bidenisms. You can make that word up if that's not already a thing. Be a little Shakespearean, some might say. This way he said, truth in shop under pressure. Which, I can't believe Trump, I can't believe it's not a MAGA t-shirt already. Because again, that's something Biden said in the real world. See if there's any contrarian statements. Let's see here. Drewzilla says he's 100% dropping out. Got 95 likes, which there are a lot of people talking online about he's going to drop out in a couple of weeks. A lot of people are saying, well, maybe he can't because the money that they've raised for the campaign has to be used by Biden or Kamala. Which, again, that puts them in a bad option because Kamala does not poll well. She could not even win the primary in California. And she's most famous for putting lots of African-American men in prison for using marijuana, when later she herself on a talk show admitted that she enjoyed the devil's lettuce, which is disgustingly hypocritical, of course, and many would say is morally vacuous and evil to, again, do the thing yourself and then lock them in jail. She also bragged about arresting parents with truancy laws, where if the kid didn't go to school, she would arrest the parents. Ask Kamala Harris. And she also has that evil Joker laugh and is not very personable. And yeah. So I'm not sure how electable she is. That would be a tall order as well. But of course, never underestimate them. There are some people that do appreciate her. Let's see here. Robert Homeschooler says, quote, this sounds like the every college football coach right before they hop on the plane in the middle of the night to go to their current school rival. And 57 likes. Oh, there we go. And I kind of a little meme from Lord of the Rings. Emergent Perspective says, quote, don't worry, Dad. Everything is going to be fine. I've got your back. There's that little weasel manipulating the king. And 32 likes. So it'll be interesting to see if he really does continue to run. I'm not sure. I mean, the Las Vegas odds are not in his favor at the moment. So again, maybe he just writes an executive order, overrides the Supreme Court, and just pays off all student loans. That would get a lot of votes, I think. Although more accurately, maybe he'll say, starting in, February next year, all student loans are forgiven. thereby giving it an incentive to vote for him. Nothing is out, even though the Supreme Court did say it's illegal, nothing's out of the realm of possibility, folks. So it'll be interesting, but let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think he's really dedicated? And does he really want this? Or does his wife, Jill Biden, want this? Let me know in the comments. As always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.